Good evening, hockey fans, and welcome to another episode of Pod Snipe Celly. My name is Dan Bradley. Alongside me is Joel Fernino. As always, Joel, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Hello. I'm good. How you doing? How was your Chi-Town trip that you graciously saw me on?
It was a blast of a trip. We really got a lot of wedding planning done over the weekend. We confirmed our caterer. Michelle picked out her dress, so really a very productive trip. All things considered, we got there later than we had expected. That snowstorm that came across the country on Thursday kind of sidetracked things a little bit, but
welcome
neither
to the lake
here nor
effect.
there. We made it in the end. That was the important thing. And then we got to see you and your gal while we were there as well. Head out to dinner.
Yeah, we ended up drinking a lot more than I thought we would.
Yeah, a little bit.
After you guys
had
left
the
too.
flaming
yeah.
zombie drink, whatever that was.
The zombie drink with the Bacardi 151 floater thing on the top that they lit on fire.
Yeah,
that
cool.
Also did not help the whole getting a little too But also, I have an important question for your wedding planning stuff.
Okay, let's hear it.
Do you or do you not spit out the wine? Or did you guys not do the wine tasting? You did the wine tasting this weekend.
No,
right?
We did not do a wine tasting.
We
did catering tasting, but we did not
I thought you were doing both of them at the same time. Okay.
No.
All right. No. Well, then. Okay. Well, either way, do you spit out the wine? Will you spit out the wine? If your answer is anything other than no, I will be disappointed in you.
I feel like there's a euphemism that you're trying to get me to bait me into here.
No, normally I would be trying to throw the innuendo in there, but no, I legitimately mean, well, do you spit out the wine when you're tasting it or no?
It depends on the wine. I think it depends on the wine and depends on how many wines you're tasting as well. Because if you're just tasting a couple quick sips here or there, not gonna be too bad a deal. But
I know I won't be spitting.
I know you're supposed to.
I mean, yeah, but that's for proper people. I don't want to be proper.
Yeah.
Also, really quick before we dive into the show, do you know what today is?
The ultimate Tuesday?
No, I was not about to be that horrible, horrendous person to go, it's 2/22/22. The ultimate Tuesday. I actually did that today, but no, that is not it. We actually have a good on this day today. Two major things happening on this day today.
Yes, I know where you're going with this now. It's the anniversary 42nd. I can do math. 42nd anniversary of the Miracle on Ice.
Do you believe in miracles? Yes.
Absolutely. What a time.
That was the main one, and then right below that too was now, obviously 4 years ago, when the women's ice hockey team won gold.
Yeah, beat Canada for the gold medal.
They beat Canada for the gold medal in 2018, and it was on, obviously today, the anniversary. They won it on the anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. So fun hockey transition trivia on this day. We will not do on this day every day because not every day is that important. I don't think.
Yeah, there's always something going on somewhere. Maybe it's, today is National Talk Like a Pirate Day or something like that. Today isn't.
I thought you meant. I thought you actually meant that.
That's in September, I want to say.
That's the fact that that's even a thing. Let's just move on.
National Talk Like a Pirate Day. We'll segue out of that.
Why is the rum gone?
But anyway. We will ask those who are watching. We are live on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, and on Facebook. If you have a comment, spicy take, something you'd like to share throughout the show, drop it in the comments below. Extra spicy, that kind of day, because it's Taco Tuesday.
It's always Taco Tuesday when our show is, though. Why is today any different?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just an extra spicy Taco Tuesday because of all the twos.
All right.
Moving on. We're going to get things started. Keeping things spicy with the red-hot Calgary Flames.
Well played.
Winners of 10 straight games. They have moved into first place in the Pacific Division with games in hand. 4 points clear of the Vegas Golden Knights with 2 games in hand. Joel, what is going on in Calgary? It's not just the Tyler Toffoli deal. That certainly helps, but there's a lot more to it than that.
He's made an immediate impact, which he basically shut me right up after I said, did they overpay for him? Which, no, they clearly absolutely did not.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
I wonder if they underpaid, and I kind of said that when we first were breaking down the trade. You thought that they overpaid. I thought they underpaid, and so far, I mean, it's looking pretty good for Mr. Toffoli.
Yeah, what's he got now? Two goals and an assist?
4 games. Does not have an assist. They might have taken that away. So 2 goals, both even strength points, 22.2% shooting percentage, winning 66% of his faceoffs. Not that he's a center by any stretch, but he's had to move into the dot a couple times and get some wins there. So let's break down this Calgary Flames team. What is going right in Calgary?
Well, I think we'd be remiss to not start with the goaltending that Jacob Markstrom is putting up for him. When you have a, I would say, Vezina top 3 finalist, backing up any mistakes that your team might make, it's usually going to help you out. He is what is this? I just pulled it. I just had it up not too long ago. So Markstrom, just for those keeping score, is 3rd in the league in goals against average, and actually, I'm going to say 2nd in the league for goalies that have started 20 or more games, with a 2.06, which is fantastic. He is, again, also it says 3rd in the league in save percentage, but again, we're going to get rid of Ville Husso.
Yep, Ville Husso. That's some Blues erasure up in here, coming from a Hawks fan. Imagine that.
I don't know who that is.
He's the guy who's going to be taking over Jordan Binnington's job.
When?
It kind of already is.
What? That's another argument.
Have you looked at Binnington's numbers this year?
He's got one bad year. It's like, what, his 4th season?
Yeah, but Binnington, I mean, a long time in the minors, wasn't quite good enough to.
He's got a cup, and he looked damn good in that cup, as much as I hate to say it.
I mean, he did. He did during the cup, but this season, Binnington 11-10-3, 3.35 goals against, 898 save percentage.
He rides my fantasy bench. Trust me, I know.
Oh yeah,
but
I don't know why you're still holding on to him. That's neither here nor there, though. Back to Markstrom.
Anyway,
let's talk about
goalies that have started more than 20 games this season, which Markstrom has started 39 to be exact. So Markstrom is 2nd in save percentage as well. So 2nd in goals against, 2nd in save percentage with a 928. And both of those, he trails only the New York Rangers, Igor Shesterkin, which, I mean, they're pretty close, but it looks like it's between those two. And Freddie Anderson can jump in there. Anyway, then we jump to the shutouts category, where 2nd in the league in shutouts is Jack Campbell of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that's 2nd is with 4. Markstrom is way the hell ahead of that with 8.
Yeah, he's doubled up the entire field on goaltending on shutouts.
Which actually, because 8 is like an insane number of shutouts to have halfway through the season. We're at the half. We're a little bit more than because we're at about 45
if you
games
consider
for most teams.
If you consider 4 times 8, 32, he's played 39 games. So presumably might get one more by the time he gets to 40 games. He's averaging a shutout roughly once every 5 games.
Yeah,
right once every 5 starts, I should say.
That prompted me to look up the most shutouts in a season, just because 8 seemed pretty high to me. Obviously, he's not even close to the record. But hey, man, with 8 halfway through, I mean, he could come close to being, he could hit these top. Well, yeah, okay, I don't know. I mean, the highest amount. Well, you know what? How many shutout? What's the most shutouts in a season?
I really should know this.
I mean, if you want a hint, it was back in the 1928-29 season.
Oh, we're getting back into what? That's got to be what, like Tiny Thompson back then, or is that even before him?
No. He's on the Montreal Canadiens.
I should know this. I really should.
You've run out of time. George Hainsworth.
I would not have come up with that. So thank you.
But do you know the number though?
Oh boy. Well, let's see. Back then, they weren't playing a full 82 games.
exactly. So that almost seems kind of
makes you wonder. But I'm going to guess, let's say 18.
Not too far off. 22.
22. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was higher or lower than 20. I was thinking maybe right about there, but
yeah,
went conservative. 22.
When we start to get into like, the more modern years, like let's say like, Lundqvist is on this list with 11 in one season,
Mm-hmm.
So it's
modern era. I would say 11 is probably
pretty damn good.
Quite a bit more realistic too.
The Flower has 10 in 2014-15.
Mm-hmm.
Quick 2011-12, he had 10. Yeah. So, anywho, that's one of my biggest points as to why Calgary's been so good. But also, and I'll let you take over after I even say this, but their offense has just been astounding.
They've gotten a lot of production. They have 4 guys with 20 or more goals on the season. Johnny Gaudreau, Andrew Mangiapane, Matthew Tkachuk, and Elias Lindholm, all with 20 or more. Mangiapane leads the way with 25 goals, but just 9 assists for Mangiapane. That's such a ridiculously one-sided stat line. But then you've got Johnny Gaudreau, 64 points in 49
Johnny
games.
Hockey.
I mean, he is. Remember when there was rumors that Johnny Hockey was going to get traded to Philadelphia because Philadelphia was closer to competing for a cup?
Yeah, and he had one he had like a one mediocre season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had one down year, and now he's 4th in the NHL in points again.
What does that
behind
say
Draisaitl,
about
Huberdeau, and McDavid?
What does that say about us when it's like, oh, one bad season, trade him? Like, dude.
See, now you're trying to bait me back into that Binnington conversation that we were having.
Look, man, I think people are way too quick to start, tossing things and giving up on players. And this, I know this comes from, I have to deal with the fallout of Stan Bowman giving up on too many damn good players. So,
I mean, I'm just saying the overperformance in 2018-19, a 189 goals against for Binnington, 256 2 years ago, 265 last year, and up to 335. It's all trending in the wrong direction. And I get it. He probably overperformed and was going to regress to the mean, but now has he over-regressed almost?
As much as I love to talk about how Blues players are doing horrible, let's get back to the Flames.
Fair enough. But yeah, Calgary really just dynamic offensively. They've got a lot of lines who can score, a lot of scoring depth. They have defensemen who are contributing as well. Noah Hannafin looking like a solid replacement for Mark Giordano. Chris Tanev, 18 points on the year. Guys just stepping up. Anderson, 2 goals, 25 assists for Calgary this year. So if we go just by points, 10 skaters with at least 20 points halfway through the season. That's a recipe for success when you've got that kind of scoring depth, and especially when you've got the high end with Johnny Gaudreau on there as well. When you're able to roll playoff run. It really is. And they got to Foley. I don't know that that's necessarily the last move that they're going to make either. I could see them going out and maybe trying to add another D-man, maybe going in like we talked about last week with John Klingberg or Calvin DeHaan to shore things up on the back end. Maybe they try and go in on Giroux, add some center depth.
Do you how do I put this? Because I'm interested in your answer here. Do you tailor their potential decision to start really being all in and just buy at the deadline to this 10-game win streak? If we are, if this 10-game win streak is actually just like, 6-4 over the last 10, right? Or like a 7-3, like do they really start to have that all-in mentality, or is this, franchise record-setting 10-game win streak?
Here's what I'm looking at.
That mentality.
Here's what I'm looking at with Calgary. They've got 3 defensemen under contract for next year. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 7 forwards under contract next year. And then included in those UFAs and RFAs are Matthew Tkachuk, Johnny Gaudreau, Andrew Mangiapane, Nikita Zadorov, Eric Goodbranson.
I completely forgot we sent them Zadorov. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's
good. I was excited to have him. I was mad that we let him go.
The guy is a hitting machine. He
Exactly.
doesn't contribute a whole lot on the scoreboard. 3 goals, 10 assists this season.
No, but he's
He's a
good.
plus
He's
5.
solid defensively. That's all you
Mhm.
really ever ask for out of a D man.
He has 101 hits in 42 games. So take that for what it is. Well, not to mention as well, the team leader in hits, Milan Lucic, 123 hits on the season.
Keep forgetting he's still there. Keep
Mm-hmm.
forgetting he hasn't retired.
Yeah, they've got 4 guys with at least 100 hits on the season. Blake Coleman and Trevor Lewis are the other 2. So they're playing physical hockey, which, as we've seen in past years, in the Western Conference, that's kind of what you need to survive in the playoffs is guys who can bang bodies, lines who can roll, and you can roll 3-4 lines and get scoring depth, and good goaltending. Like we said, it's a recipe for success for Calgary. The real question, I think, is going to be, does Vegas get healthy enough to stop them? We've jokingly speculated about whether Mark Stone's IR stint is cap circumvention or what's really going on there, like we saw with Patrick Kane in the past with the Blackhawks, like we saw with Kucherov with Tampa Bay. Kind of seems like maybe something similar here. Makes you wonder what's actually going to be in store come playoff time. But Calgary, with the role that they're on, I think looking at how many big names you have to try and get figured out for next season, why not try and go all in right now? They have, less than 200,000 in cap room. So any deal kind of has to be money in, money out. There's just not the room to make a big splash otherwise. But if you can do something like maybe move Milan Lucic's contract to pick someone up, he is
I don't know
making
who's
5
really
point.
trading for him though.
Well, he's also got a no move clause
Yeah, he's
with
not
a
going to want to
modified no
leave.
trade, so he's probably not going to waive
He's
to
not going
go
to want to
somewhere.
leave the wagon that is the Calgary Flames right now.
Right, but again, I'm just throwing it out here. Any money that you would move to try and improve the roster, and I guess I didn't really consider that Lucic had a no move in there, and there's a couple of other guys with some modified no trade clauses on their deal.
Yeah.
So maybe it's going to take some creative salary cap management to make a deal work. But I could see them trying to free up a little bit of cap room, make they're not going to be bringing in another star. Toffoli was their quote unquote big get to add some extra scoring, but to add somebody like a 3rd line or 4th line center, somebody who can help you on the penalty kill, add a defenseman who can help eat pucks.
I like that Calvin DeHaan potential there. Like that,
Yeah,
he
I
would
think
fit
he's a
right in.
natural fit with
Oh, yeah.
Calgary. I just, the style that he plays would be such a good system fit. He's good with breaking the puck out and getting it up the ice. Good in the transition game, and just solid in his own end responsibly.
Yeah, he doesn't make a lot of bad mistakes, and also, I mean, he's going to give he would give Markstrom a bit of a break because he literally eats pucks.
He really does. Both DeHaan eating pucks and Markstrom seeing the pucks. Markstrom with 39 games this season. He is. I'm waiting as this refreshes on the sort.
While you wait
eighth in shots against this season.
Yeah,
and 4 of the players ahead of him have actually played more games. Those who have played fewer are Gibson, Fleury, and Vasilevsky. So some pretty solid company to be in the mix with there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And also, I mean, we're talking about the defense and the goaltending, but with the offense, I wanted to see, do you know where they, without looking, where do they rank in goal differential?
Goal differential. Oh, boy. I'm going to guess they're top 3.
You would be correct.
I don't know if they're number 1.
They're tied for 3rd.
They're tied for 3rd. Okay.
They are tied for 3rd at a plus 55. They're tied with Carolina.
Tied with Carolina. So then the 2 ahead would be Florida.
Well, if you want to go ahead and go 2-1, go ahead.
Let's try and guess. Florida and Boy, maybe Colorado, but Colorado gives up a lot of goals.
I'll give you this. You're right on both the teams. Now rank
What's
them.
the order? It would
What's
be
the order?
Florida 1 and Colorado 2.
Correct.
Yeah.
Colorado is at plus 56, so just one ahead of both Calgary and Carolina. And then Florida is at a whopping plus 63.
Yeah, Florida. I told you at the beginning of the year, Florida's
know.
my pick to win the cup this year. And man, do they look like a wagon. Anton Lundell coming on strong. He may be in the Calder conversation at the end of the year the way he keeps playing.
He put up, I think he put up a hat trick against us when he played us.
Yeah, he's on a tear. I'm gonna let you vamp for a minute because I'm gonna get the rookie stats up here just to throw some fun out there and have a little rookie watch going.
Oh yeah, to see how we're doing on. I mean, I still don't think your boy is gonna catch that race. By the way, I don't see Matt Boldy jumping into that race, but maybe. Sorry, I just saw the anger on your face.
Here's where the race is at right now. The top 3 in points, or I guess top 4 because there's a tie. Lucas Raymond at 39, Trevor Zegras 38, Anton Lundell at 35, and Moritz Seider at 35. Now, going a bit further down the list, yes, is you have Matt Boldy, who is 14th with 16 points in 16 games. On a strictly point per game basis, he leads all rookies. So if he continues at that pace with the number of games remaining, hard to see how he's not in that conversation depending on what the others do. That said, this is a really, really good year for rookies.
Oh yeah, it really is. We're seeing such emergence. It's so much fun though.
Oh, it is. And you can't sleep on Michael Bunting in Toronto. You can't sleep on Dawson Mercer with the Devils. Tanner Jeannot with Nashville. Like, there's a lot of really good rookies out there. And let's not forget about how Alex Newhook is playing with Colorado either. Rookie watch, pretty dang strong this year.
And not to back up, I know we're kind of switching defense and offense talk, but we were talking about that potential Calvin DeHaan trade and how it would bolster up, Calgary's already pretty damn good defense. I just looked up as of today, the block shot leaders in the NHL, and the top 3, 2 of them are Blackhawks, which makes sense.
Say that again.
The top 3 players in the league in block shots, 2 of them are Blackhawks.
I believe it.
I mean, we let up God knows how many shots a game, so yeah, I believe it. But
it's a lot.
Number 1 is Braden McNabb on Vegas, and just ahead of DeHaan is Connor Murphy, whom I very much hated for a while.
You did for a long time. By the way, Blackhawks 32 shots against per game, which is tied for 10th in the league. You take those block shots out of there, or even cut it down by 1 per player per game. That's a big swing.
Jeremy Colleton is a big difference there. He left. Now we don't have. We're not first in the league in shots against. Still in the top 10, but.
Well, moving on from Calgary here, we've got a couple quick hits from around the league.
Yes.
And one of the big talkers this week is Nathan MacKinnon, who questionable hit, but was not suspended for his hit. I'm trying to remember what player that was against.
On Nolan Patrick.
Nolan Patrick, thank you. It was in the Vegas game.
Yep.
Was not penalized on the play, was not subject to any supplemental discipline there.
That one, I don't want to get into that one. Wait, there's not too much to talk about. I think it surprised me that it wasn't a 5 misconduct in the game.
In the game, yes. Which
I don't know about a match penalty. I
wouldn't have gone so far as to get a match penalty there.
And you can fact check me on Twitter. I tweeted saying it should have been a game. I'm going to run it back on that one. I don't think it should have been a game after looking at it more, but I definitely think it could have been a 5.
He could get a game misconduct and be out for the game, but not a match penalty. So he could still get the 5-minute major and a game misconduct for head contact.
Right. Either way, continue.
Which, if that's the case, normally that results in a suspension there, but there was no suspension.
Mm-hmm.
Then, what was it, Sunday? Or no, yesterday afternoon.
Yesterday. Yeah,
it was the weird 1:00 p.m. Eastern start time for that one. between Boston and Colorado, where after a face-off, MacKinnon, in frustration, it appeared that he was trying to slash at another player and ended up contacting the official.
Yes, in the leg. In fact, actually, you go ahead and talk on it.
After league review today, it was determined that MacKinnon will not face any supplemental discipline. Normally, depending on the scale, abuse of official as a penalty could be up to a 20-game suspension, depending on the egregiousness of the infraction. Now, obviously, a slash on the leg, that doesn't rise to the level of some of the other things that we've seen in hockey over the years.
Or over the weekend.
Yeah, I guess, or even over the weekend. Different league, different scenario. But
I mean, I know USPHL is not the NHL, but Paul Halloran knocking the F out of that referee in the middle of a game.
Yeah, that's the league that, for those who don't know, that's the league I broadcast in. Not the team that I broadcast for, but that is the league that I broadcast in. So I've got a little bit of a different perspective on that one, and I think I'm just going to hold my tongue on it. But
ref got his ass
not a good look for anybody involved in that one.
Horrible look, but kind of hilarious. The ref got up; he was fine, so it's kind of hilarious.
But looking at the MacKinnon play in particular, you got to control your stick. I mean, I understand he's trying to hack at another player, but guess what? That's still a slash. And when you make the contact with the official, are you mocking what I'm saying, or are you just yawning because you're that tired?
A little bit of both. Go ahead, continue.
You asshole. I mean, that's really it. It comes down to it's an abuse of the official, and you have to be responsible for your stick. We see it on high sticks all the time. It's an inadvertent high stick, but it's still a penalty. It's an inadvertent trip, inadvertent slash, still a penalty. Guess what? You contacted the official. That should be a penalty, and MacKinnon should have been tossed for it. We saw it a couple years ago with Ryan Getzlaff in Anaheim, where he slashed an official in the leg off a face-off and was thrown out of the game and suspended for it. Why is MacKinnon getting the preferential treatment here? Because he's a hockey player who scores a bunch of points and he plays on a first-place club? Is that really the only reason here that he's not getting a suspension? Because that's sure what it seems like.
Oh, Dan. Everyone,
you're going to try and tell me that I'm wrong here? You're going to try and tell me that MacKinnon should not have been suspended?
I am going to tell you that you are extremely wrong. The get off my lawn, Dan, has come out to play on 22-22.
Joel, this is not NOM. This is the NHL. There are rules. 10 points if you know that reference.
I don't, but it was pretty good.
The Big Lebowski. Great movie.
Oh, yeah, my girlfrild yells at me for not having seen that movie.
I
need to watch it. I've
been sitting on that one all day to say, Joel, this is not NOM. This is the NHL. There are rules.
That was well played, and I will commend you for that. What I will not commend you for is the take. No, you do not need to suspend MacKinnon for accidentally slashing.
It doesn't matter if it was an accident.
Let me finish. He accidentally slashes the official, in the calf? It's not like he hits him in the face. It's not like he hits him in the ribs. The ref simply looked back and was like, what the hell, bro? And he was going for, by the way, number 92 on the Bruins is Tomas Nosek. He was going for Nosek as he skated away, barely missed, hit the ref. Here's the thing. There are plenty of rules in hockey, in the NHL, where they talk about intent, all the hits to the head, right? There's always that whole intent aspect where they have to review it. They clearly had to review this for a couple days, overnight. My bad. It happened yesterday. They clearly reviewed it and clearly show the intent was not to literally look at the ref and be like, I am going to Barry Bonds your leg out of the stadium. Like, he accidentally hits him.
Joey with a great comment. Can you prove it was an accident? No, you can't prove that it was an accident. That's part of the problem. And even if you take MacKinnon at his word in saying it was an accident, guess what? It still happened. And there are still consequences for your actions, even if it was an accident.
That door swings
except in this case where there is no consequence for it.
That door swings, Joey again. Contact with a ref with intent to slash someone. That's enough for me.
Bingo. Joey, there you go.
No.
Because guess what? Even if he slashes the player, that would still be an infraction.
Yeah, and it's a 2-minute minor for slashing.
Yeah, but then guess what? If it's a 2-minute minor for slashing, how much worse does it get when it's an official?
If it's an accident,
you gotta call it.
The ref is in the way. Get out of the way.
It's different. It's an official, and guess what? Even if the referee is in the way, you still have to avoid contact. There are times where yes, you'll make a collision with the referee. That's fine. Yeah. It happens. It's part of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
The two-handed slash is not part of the game, if you want to call it that. Even if he is trying to slash at another player, guess what? He's trying to slash at another player. That's going to get called if he contacts the player. Why should it change? Because he meant to hit the player and ended up hitting the referee. If I mean to slash Patrick Kane and I end up slashing DeBrincat, is it still a slash? That's what you've just said.
And it's still
here.
A 2-minute minor. I'm not saying.
So then why isn't it a penalty when it's the official?
I'm not saying it shouldn't be a penalty. I'm saying he shouldn't get suspended for it.
Yes, he should. It's abuse of official.
Shouldn't. Then put him out for 2 minutes or 5 minutes if you really want to. Joey again. Joey, you're usually on my side, but I got this. In any other sport, when you contact an official, there is a fine, suspension, ejection. Why stop here? What's next? Supporting the player who sucker punched the ref? I mean, that was funny. But no, I don't support that. This is completely different. That player completely, Mike Tyson, that ref. All right, that is completely different. You can clearly tell.
Lifetime ban for it too. We should mention,
he's lifetime ban.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, totally agree with that.
No, I'm confirming that is what happened. He did receive a lifetime ban.
Oh, good. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Dude tried to basically kill the ref. Come on.
Pretty much.
That's ridiculous. You should and isn't he I thought you told me this earlier. He's not a no-name USPHL I know is lower tiered league, but he's not a no-name, right? He's
he
second
was fourth on their team in points and second in goals. So
he's not sitting there, getting frustrated man, I'm never going anywhere. He's at least halfway decent. But anyway, I digress on that.
I'm pretty sure I heard that he's a college commit and he would still have one more year at juniors eligibility, but that's by the wayside now for at least at this tier.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I get it. You can't prove that it was an accident, but can you prove that it was on purpose too?
The doesn't have to be. You still got him. We've seen this time and time again in this league that you have to be responsible for your stick. And if you're trying to lift a stick and you catch a guy in the face, it's a 2-minute high sticking penalty.
Yeah, you're not suspended.
Yeah, but guess what? That's also when it's a player and not when it's an official. It rises to another level when it's an official.
But again, you said it yourself. There is incidental contact with the referee at every single NHL game.
What? That's if you're moving through the play. That's if you are trying to.
He's moving through the play. The face-off just finished.
Flash. That's different.
Okay. And it would have been a 2-minute minor had he actually hit no sex calf or wherever he was aiming.
Yeah,
but instead he misses and hits the ref's calf.
You just proved the point. It's a 2-minute penalty if he contacts the player. So therefore, because it's a penalty when it's the player, why shouldn't it escalate when it's the referee?
Give him a penalty. Give him a 5-minute major for hitting the ref. I don't know.
But they didn't. So then they go back and with supplemental discipline, because they didn't call it on the ice, you call it afterward.
Fine. The question here is, should he be suspended? No.
Yes, he should, because they didn't discipline him on the ice for it.
Did the ref have a residual injury from it? No. The ref kept skating away. That's another thing that goes into suspensions. How was the injury to the player in these head hits or in these slew foots?
That's what goes into this. And it still usually results in at least one game.
That's what
when
goes
it's reviewed like that.
That's what goes into the severity of a suspension. Was there a residual injury, and how bad was?
Yeah, I'm not calling for a 20-game ban, but a game or two, yeah, he absolutely should be.
No. It's such a boring take. He accidentally hits him in the calf. Just let him go. The ref skated away and probably told him to, F off. Man, I stopped dropping F-bombs. I need to start dropping F-bombs again.
We'll move on, and we'll go from unnecessary roughness towards referees to unnecessary roughness towards coaches, as we saw in the Michigan-Wisconsin game.
I'm all heated, and now I'm about to agree with you. What is happening here?
Yeah, we kind of scale it back a little.
I think we probably should have switched this.
Maybe we should have. Because we were kind of in agreement on the Flames too. So now we're agree, disagree, we're agree, and then we're going to get into
heavily agree, heavily disagree, heavily agree. What's happening? There's some.
Well, then we're getting into Wednesday night picks, which
Okay,
is what the people are tuning in for, and that's where we're going to get some differentiation there.
Fair.
But in the meantime, this will be a quick segment. Is the handshake line still necessary?
This stems obviously from everyone has seen the Juwan Howard situation where he goes and he doesn't punch, but he throws a punch and basically bitch slaps the assistant coach on Wisconsin, right? Or Juwan Howard is Juwan Howard's the Michigan coach.
Yes, Juwan Howard's the Michigan coach. Yeah,
and he hit
he took
the
a swing at the Wisconsin coach.
Right. And like obviously that's unacceptable. Like you are it's already not, I know it's basketball versus like hockey or anything, but you're a coach, like a coach or a management staff that's in the, like, you should not be throwing hands. And it's basketball too. Like, you're not allowed to throw hands without getting teed up or even worse in basketball. Like so it's horrible. It was a bad take. He did apologize. It was a very graceful apology, but he's, you got to throw the book at him. I'm not saying he should be fired. I know there's people that are like, he should be fired. He should be fined. God knows how much money.
I'm not calling for him to be fired. I think the suspension there is enough discipline.
Yeah, and he was fined $40,000 as well. So that's a hefty chunk, even for a college coach. But that started sparking the mini debate of, should we just do away with the handshake line? And now, to preface it, I'm sure that, like, I saw it on ESPN. I've seen it, on a couple other Twitter some articles, whatever. I'm sure most of that conversation was, should they do away with it in basketball, in college, in the NBA? After every single game, they usually do the handshake line. But in general, no. And obviously, hockey has made this notorious. Hockey made the handshake line.
Yeah.
Hockey may get tossed underneath at that 4 seed when it comes to top 4 sports in the U.S., but hockey also sets a hell of a lot of precedents, and one of them is the handshake line. And I guess my only take is, if you're really that, for one, this isn't even like if there's people out there that are like, yes, absolutely, pound my fist and break things, get rid of the handshake line, I don't really know why you're yelling, sir. Why do you care that much? But anyway, it's a show of sportsmanship, man. Like, if you can't walk through after, and again, I know the NHL only does it during the playoffs. There's your solution right there. Don't do it during the regular season when it doesn't mean as much.
For college basketball, maybe you don't do it in the regular season, or you do it at the end of the regular season series. Maybe you do it during the conference tournament. Maybe you only do it during NCAA or NIT tournament. But
right.
I don't think you need to get rid of it. And at minimum, kind of like HP says here, HP says the line isn't necessary, but I think you can still shake hands with other players and coaches who are willing.
So like what the NFL does, where they go and seek out, each other. Yeah.
Well, and HP will be the first to tell you too that with all the Mullets games, you shake hands at the end of the game, shake hands with the opposing coach, shake hands with the referee, and at the end of the game, that's just what you do. So as far as, is a line necessary? That's kind of another interesting wrinkle to that argument. I hope nobody says no handshake lines. We're not doing the handshake line ever again. I hope that a league doesn't do that. I hope that a team doesn't do that.
You're basically
it's respecting your opponent, and it's respecting the game.
You're spitting in the face of sportsmanship if you take this super highbrow, like, no, we're getting rid of the handshake line. And it's like, if you can't be a good sport, like, even you could do the dead fish. If you're like, if you're fighting with this player throughout that entire game and you two are just like, I hate this guy, whatever, cool, dead fish handshake, or just stare each other down, whatever you want to do, walk past and just be a good sport about it. It's I don't know. It to me, like, I think it sparked way more of a conversation than it needed to, but it's kind of what we're here for, right? We're here for some storylines.
Well, speaking of spitting in the face of sportsmanship, or perhaps licking in the face of sportsmanship, Brad Marchand, we got this question through Twitter. Let's see how many Boston fans I can get going with that transition.
Oh, I love this. I love this.
That was. I'm never going to be allowed in the state of Massachusetts again. It's not going to happen.
It's overrated. I say that having never been there, so go ahead, attack
Oh
me.
boy, we just got in trouble. Anywho, Brad Marchand. Joel, do you want to mention why we're talking about Marchand here and his suspension count?
Yes. So graciously, your brother David tweeted at our official Twitter account, which everyone listening or everyone streaming this in the future, I'm talking to future people right now too. Send us a tweet. We do Would You Rather sometimes. Send us some Would You Rather. Send us some stuff. It's at Pod Snipe Celly. Super easy. Tweet at us. We mostly respond. It's usually one of us. About 50% of the time, it's usually Dan, and then it's usually me. Whatever.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's pretty even split.
yeah. So there was a headline, what appears to be on NHL Network, but he sends the screen cap and asks us, how many suspensions do you think a player can get before it's better to just ban them from the league? And it's an interesting question that I think it's worth kind of having some fun and talking about it. So there was a headline. Obviously, Brad Marchand just got suspended. Is that up, by the way? No. Is he still suspended? Or is that over now? I forgot how many
I
games
think
it
he
was.
still has another game or two to serve yet.
Because it was 8, right?
6. It was a 6-game suspension.
What did he do again? Oh yeah, he
So,
sucker punched Tristan Jarry. That's right.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I even had someone on who's a Boston fan that we both know on Twitter reach out to me like, I don't know why Jarry was so angry, and I'm like, I mean, like, why did Marchand go sucker punch him in the face? Like, come on, man. But he agreed, obviously, with the suspension. Anyway, so here are the suspension stats for one Brad Marchand of the Boston Bruins. He is in his 13-season career. He has 8 individual suspensions, which is the most in NHL history. He has a total of 28 games suspended over the course of those 8 individual suspensions. He has been fined in some of those over $1.4 million. And he's currently serving the last game of his 6-game suspension. So yeah, I mean, I ask you, like, 28 games in 13 seasons. Yes, I get it. 82 game seasons plus lockout season, sorry. And lockout and COVID season in between that as well. But 28 games, like, you know what? It's a hot question. It's a hot take question, and I don't really know what my answer is yet. Should there be this tipping point, right? Of like in X amount of seasons, if you have reached Y amount of suspensions, when do we start talking about bans?
Well, and here's the other thing with the Marchand suspensions is it's not for the same behavior for all of these.
Right.
Going through his suspension history here, 2011 he was suspended 2 games for elbowing RJ Umberger. 2012 suspended 5 games for low bridging Sammy Salo. 2015 2 games for slew footing Brad Marchand. Or excuse me, slew-footing Derek Brassard.
He slew-footed himself. Damn him.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm scrolling through, and it's got the clip, and it's got the video, and the list of what it was, and I'm trying to scroll through here and keep reading. So
I want to try and slew-foot myself. I want to try.
He slew-footed Derek Brassard. Also 2015, 3 games for clipping Mark Borvietsky. 2017, suspended 2 games for spearing Jake Dotchin.
Oh, I remember that play.
2018 suspended 5 games for elbowing Marcus Johansson. 2021 suspended 3 games for slew footing Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
That's right.
And then suspended 6 games for the roughing and high stick on Tristan Jarry. So
how many slew foots did you mention? Was that 3 or 4?
Hang on, let me go back to the article.
I counted 3, but I might have missed one.
Well, here's the thing: is he was fined in 2012 for slew footing. Only one true slew foot, but he did have clipping, tripping, low bridge, some dangerous hockey plays, but only the one slew foot suspension. But he was also fined for it. So he has received discipline multiple times for slew foots. I don't know that I have a good answer to this one either. If there's a hard limit on how many before a ban takes place,
And I guess before we even get into if it like should there be, right? Like we don't even have to think about a number yet. Like should there be, right? Like what do you think there?
Maybe at some point, I think I look at and a trigger warning for Blackhawks fans. I'm going to throw it out there right now.
I know what you're gonna say.
You do know what I'm going to say. Raffi Torres,
Oh, never mind.
a
I was thinking of something
41
else.
game suspension after his, what was it, 13, I think, for the hit on Hossa. A 41 game for repeated headhunting, which effectively ended his career. So without being a ban, that suspension was long enough that nobody wanted to touch him after that. Yeah, Joey chiming in here, Torres scum. Yeah,
That's
and it's such
Joey.
a shame.
Joey. That's the understatement of the year.
People forget that early in his year, like Torres was a good hockey player. Like he didn't have to resort to that kind of stuff to be effective on the ice. He was, a consistent 20 goal scorer. I think he might have hit 30 at one point.
You know me, I will always give credit where credit is due. That man doesn't get any credit.
So 2003-04 in Edmonton, 20 goals. 05-06, first year after the lockout, 27 goals, 41 points. That was his career high. Next year, 34 points, second highest total of his career. So he's showing early in his career that he can be a good offensive player. But then it's when the penalty minutes start to become more of a factor and the suspensions start to take effect. Like people forget that he was going to be a good hockey player before he started doing all of that.
Before he became a piece of shit.
Yeah, you said it.
We all know how much.
We know how you feel about Raffi Torres. Let's move into something we get a little more excited about, and that's Wednesday night picks.
It's an interesting segue. We are on an emotional.
Heck of a week last week, 3-1 on the week, and you are now one back of me in terms of overall wins. And I think by win percentage, you would be the top dog right now. I had a really rough week on picks.
Shout out to Sharp Rank for shouting me out twice.
Well, and I was just going to bring up Sharp Rank. How bad was my week last week? As of right now, I am not in the top 10.
Really?
Yeah, I have fallen off that far on NHL bets.
Wow.
Now, pending tonight, that should change and get me back into things here. But also, I took the Wild to win by 2, and they're down 2 to Ottawa right now.
You gotta be kidding me! I took them to win just outright.
Down to 55 overall on the overall leaderboard, and on hockey specifically.
Whoa!
I'll let that run.
This just actually live update for you because you said you're outside NHL, like you're 55 overall. I have cracked the top 20. I am now 18th overall.
Well, and you are up to number 5 on the hockey specific leaderboard.
Yes.
So I've got some work to do. HP, like me, picked a bad day to bet the Wild minus 1.5.
I almost did.
Join HP at 221 on Sharp Frank. At a kid.
Hey, it's HP. Well, you know what? I'm gonna extend some help for you. I was there too when I first downloaded the app.
He'll get there.
I love trolling HP.
Let's get right into these picks here because we got a few to get through and we don't have too much show left. Edmonton Oilers plus 1.5 goals at minus 130. At the Tampa Bay Lightning minus 1.5 goals at plus 110. Joel, are you going to spot McDavid and Draisaitl a goal and still think Tampa Bay will win?
I was looking at this earlier today, and it's tough because Edmonton is just so unpredictable right now. It's like they're good. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the talent is there, but they are just not performing. Man, it's tough. Especially the puck line. Like this, this one is one of those where it's like you'd think, no, it's pretty obvious. Take Tampa minus 1.5. Like it's pretty, but to me, it's not. Like Edmonton has been so unpredictable in games like this. Man, I feel like I'm probably gonna. This probably the toughest one. I'm probably going to go ahead and take Tampa -1.5.
Yeah, I think that's a smart play here too. Tampa Bay 16-4-4 at home this season. Edmonton has been better on the road than they have at home. 14-11 at home, 14-8-3 on the road. So even record, but they've picked up more points on the road than they have at home in the same number of games. I do not trust Edmonton's defense, and I really don't trust their goaltending. After that 7-2 game against the Wild the other night, they look so bad right now. They're such a mess in their own end that even when McDavid and Draisaitl are scoring goals and leading the league in scoring, doesn't matter because they're giving up so many at the other end of the ice. I'm going Tampa here.
Yep.
Another puck line instead of money line. Colorado Avalanche -1.5 goals at -115. At the Red Wings +1.5 goals at -105. Is Colorado still the favorite, even with being on the puck line? Heavy money line favorite here. In fact, let me get the numbers up. Colorado -280 on the money line tomorrow night. Red Wings +235. Joel, where are you going here?
It's interesting because, in the last, maybe 4 or 5 games, like Colorado is, for their standards, come back down to earth. Like, what is it? I think they're 7-2-1 in their last 10, but that's coming off of 9-0-1, right? So now they go, like 2-1 in their last 3, right? Like, so they've kind of come back down to earth. I think I picked them not too long ago to beat, I can't remember who it was, but they put up a stinker, and I don't even know what happened.
Well, they really got beat bad by the Stars. That was a 4-1.
That was it. That was the one.
Home loss.
Yeah, that was it. And I know the Stars are pretty hot too. The Stars are doing damn well, but it's Colorado, and they're coming off.
They followed that up with a 2-0 shutout of Vegas, though, at Vegas after losing at home. So
right, exactly. So Detroit is Detroit. They're still mediocre. They have their talent. I'm going to take Colorado -1.5. They've brought me to the dance every Wednesday night pick. Knock on wood, they have not failed me. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick with my boys.
Joel, what's my line about home dogs?
Do it for the bit.
Do it for the bit. I love a home underdog. Give me Detroit in this one. Colorado really.
Do it for the bit only applied to Arizona.
They looked so absolutely flat in that 5-1 loss to Boston yesterday. And Detroit, hanging around 5-5 in their last 10 on a winning streak, trying to gain some ground on Boston for maybe sneak in on that last.
They've fallen in those standings, man.
Last playoff spot. They have a little bit, but it's what's killed them is being on the road. 8-13 on the road. 8-13-3, I should say, on the road. 15-9-3 at home. I love a home dog. Give me Detroit +1.5 on this one. Colorado probably still going to win the game, but I think Detroit able to hang around enough to keep it close.
Yeah, that's fair. All
right. Speaking of those Dallas Stars, a moment ago, Winnipeg Jets +130 at Dallas Stars -155.
I was looking at this earlier, trying to kind of figure out where I wanted to go. Winnipeg has not been good. Like, they've kind of surprised me. I thought they were going to be better. They have not been very good lately. 5-4-1 in their last 10, but they're rocking a 2-game losing streak. Dallas 6-4. It's close. I'm really glad we didn't do a puck line on this one. I feel like I'm going to go Dallas because I picked against Dallas 2 nights ago, and they decided to throw that back in my face. So I'm going to try and learn my lesson, and I'm going to go with Dallas. They're feeling themselves, man. They killed Colorado. I think they're feeling themselves right now.
Just to be different, I'm going to go Winnipeg here.
Be different.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Winnipeg is just weird.
Meh.
Their losses, their last 2 losses, 4-2 against Edmonton, 3-1 against Calgary. But their wins before that against Seattle, against Minnesota, at Nashville, overtime loss at Dallas, shutout win against Minnesota. They're beating good teams, but they're losing to teams that maybe they shouldn't be losing. Calgary, yeah, okay, fair. That's one that they probably should be losing to.
Yeah.
Losing to Edmonton with how bad Edmonton's been lately, that one is weird for me. I'm going to go Winnipeg on that one. HP, FNG, we know what that's all about. He's taking Winnipeg. Anytime Dallas loses, it's a good day for HP. Fourth game out of 5 on the night. Buffalo Sabres at Montreal Canadiens. Even money on this one.
Man, look at this riveting
-110.
Look at this riveting matchup.
Remember last week where we had Vegas, Colorado? We had Florida, Carolina. Yeah, we had Minnesota, Winnipeg, and that one kind of sucked. Decent game, 2-0, but still a good game. And then Calgary and Anaheim, and then this week we get Buffalo and Montreal. What a turnaround.
I don't know if you'll be surprised where I'm going with this. I've been thinking about this one today. And I mean, oh my God, it's literally a battle of the basement of the Atlantic, the Atlantic Division. That's exactly what this is. It's a battle of the basement in the Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
3-6-1 Buffalo rocking a 3-6-1 in their last 10, rocking a 3-game losing streak. And I say that while Montreal is rocking a 3-7-0 in their last 10, they are rocking a 3-game win streak. They're feeling themselves a tiny, tiny bit. I'm going to take the Canadiens.
Okay. I'm going to go Buffalo to be different here, but I really don't feel good about it because I've got to read off this injury list right now. Victor Olofsson, out with an illness. Rasmus Dahlin, lower body injury, maybe back tomorrow, maybe not. Will Butcher on IR, lower body injury, might return tomorrow. Zemgus Jurgensen's undisclosed, listed as week to week. That was on February 8th. Might be back tomorrow, not sure. Jack Quinn IR, lower body, might be back tomorrow. Your boy Vinny Hinostroza,
a boy, I miss
lower
him.
lower body injury, was in a non-contact jersey that was on February 8th. So it looks like he's practicing again. Might be back tomorrow, might not. That's a lot of injuries, and that doesn't even get into the guys who are out even longer term than that. That's just looking at potential to return this week. But I'm still going to go Buffalo. I really don't like Montreal's goaltending situation. It's great to see Cole Caulfield starting to score again now that Marty St. Louis is in as head coach. But I think Buffalo. It again, just to be different. So we're different on 3 out of 4 picks, which is great. And then moving into our last pick of the night, Los Angeles Kings -1.5 goals, plus 115 at Arizona Coyotes. Do we do it for the bit? Plus 1.5 goals at -135. Joel, at least one of us is going to do Coyotes for the bit just because it has to be done. Will you be the one doing Coyotes for the bit?
Man. No. Kings. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. This is puck line, right? My bad. My fault.
Yeah, this is puck line. Not just outright picking a winner. You can still pick the Kings to win and take Arizona plus 1.5 goals.
I read that wrong. I apologize. I'm doing it for the bit, baby. The Coyotes cover.
Well, that makes things easy for me. Then I'll go Kings. You can take Coyotes for the bit. I'll take Kings -1.5 and take them to win.
I don't feel good about that, but
we have just enough time to do 2 minutes for roughing. Joel, you are on the clock this week. Did you come up with something? Boy, I sure hope so. Otherwise, this could be a really awkward 2 minutes for roughing segment here.
You know what? I think I got something.
Atta kid. I'll count you in 3, 2, 1. You're up.
Not just because I am a Bears fan, as everyone knows, but just for the sake of the unnecessary pageantry. Aaron Rodgers needs to stop being a reality show little bitch. Have we not? If you haven't read his crazy Instagram posts, and I'm not knocking the heartfelt messages, that's awesome that you would send heartfelt messages to your teammates, past, present, whatever. This man is holding the Green Bay Packers hostage with his future. To me, I'm happy about that. Screw the Packers. Hold them hostage. However, why it makes me angry is because this dude has come out, and I respect him. He is one of the greatest to ever do it. I hate saying it, but he is. But this guy, he just continues to like not make sense. Like he basically wants to keep coming out in social media, regular media, Pat McAfee's podcast, like, and he wants to try and make himself the victim when you're not even close to the victim. You know, you come on the podcasts and you say like, people are coming at me for this and that, and it's like, you're making this yourself. Like you are making these formalities yourself. Like people don't hate you as much as you think they do, but they also don't like you either. And just get it over with. Let us know if you're going to either retire, stay with the Packers, or go to, I don't know, Denver. I think these might go to Denver, right? Whatever. Enough of the cryptic pageantry bullshit. Leave the reality TV show drama crap to the NBA. And I love some good drama, but like this is like unnecessary. You're just creating drama for the sake of drama, and I think Aaron Rodgers needs to just shut up.
Atta kid. Well done.
I'm not like pissed, and it probably was a random rant that didn't make sense, but some of these Instagram posts that he came out with, like, great, good for you, man. Give your teammates and your family kudos. That's great. And oh no, I feel so horrible for you that you and Shailene Woodley broke up. Yippee. It's just, dude, like, I hate the Packers, but damn, they are getting held hostage. And it's hilarious to watch, but like, this guy just continues to dig himself a hole of like, dude, we don't like you. And it's
speaking of guys we don't like, HP chiming in with Rodgers for Cousins 1 for 1. That's not saying we don't like HP, by the way. Let me clarify that. Rodgers for Cousins 1 for 1. Who says no? You know I hate Kirk Cousins. Don't want him as the Vikings quarterback anymore. But as for who says no on that deal, I think everybody says no on that deal.
Back up.
Packers don't want him. Packers don't want Cousins. They would want to be maybe rid of Rodgers, but not at the expense of bringing in Kirk Cousins.
As much as I can say I don't like Aaron Rodgers, if you tell me he's going to come to the Bears, okay, fine. Like, I mean, I'm all in on Justin Fields, but I'm saying subtract Justin Fields from the equation. By the way, we did it on this day. I'm going to end the show on one more on this day. I forgot.
Well, before you do that, we just need to recap Wednesday night picks here.
Yes.
So Wednesday night picks, I took the Kings. Joel took the Coyotes. I took the Buffalo Sabres. Joel took Montreal. I took the Winnipeg Jets. Joel took the Dallas Stars. Joel running with the home teams here. Except on this one where I took the home underdog, Detroit Red Wings plus 1.5. Joel took Colorado minus 1.5. And we both took Tampa Bay at home minus 1.5 against the Edmonton Oilers. Joel.
Keep the streak going. I'm going to end the show on one more on this day.
Okay.
I didn't get to talk about the Blackhawks at all today, so I get to talk about them.
Oh, it looks like we're out of time.
Oh, that's great. On this day, this day in 2013, or would it be 12? 12. The Blackhawks set the single-season consecutive regulation record in the NHL at 14-0-3 and went on to make it 21-0-3, and that record still holds true today. You can end the show now.
Okay. Well, I think on that note, yeah, that probably is a good place to end the show. Thank you to Noob Sports and Sports 2.0 Network for powering tonight's show. Reminder, as always, to follow us on Twitter at PodSnipeCelly. There's no underscores in there. It's just PodSnipeCelly.
There can be.
No, we're not going to change the handle at this point. Remember, you can catch us live every week on YouTube, on Twitter, Twitch, and on Facebook. You can also catch us anytime on demand on iTunes and on Spotify. That is it for tonight's show. For Joel, for Nino, my name is Dan Bradley. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.
#FreeMacKinnon.